All righty. Namaste, great souls. We're here again for another class together. And our theme, just a gentle review of one of the yamas, is, of course, contentment. It's also known as the golden virtue because when we feel content, we're content. We're at peace with the world, within our own world, and whatever's going on in the world around us, we may not like, but we're finding a way to feel our own contentment within the outer and the inner. So we'll be practicing that contentment within, and then maybe it's subtle, maybe it's barely perceptible, but then we want to try to amplify that feeling, okay? And then the same with our outer world, whether it be a bird flying by or um, so many flowers, and I don't know, I'm going to animals now, but it's wonderful to tune in and just expand that feeling, that almost like a gratitude, but it's similar. So we will work with contentment, santosha, and even-mindedness. It's yoga chittas vritti narod is the Sanskrit, is to be ever neutralize the waves of feeling and to be content under circumstances of life. Eventually getting there, and we will start with our breath work. I wanted to return to some basics with the breath work. It is the classic full yogic breath, so I'll come back. To review, what we want to do, I'm going to suggest a inhale to 5, an exhale to 7. There's not any holds on the full yogic breath, okay? If 5 and 7 count does not work for you, of course, make it work for yourself. We don't want to stress about our breath work, right? And what I'm going to do is just demo first very quickly, then we'll all do it together. So first I'll cue hands on the belly. Then I'll cue hands on the ribs. And when I'm cueing hands on the ribs, you're connecting to belly to ribs. You're not forgetting about where the breath starts in the belly. Third phase, underneath the clavicles, the collarbones. When I cue that, it's belly, ribs, chest, clavicles. Everything's opening. All right. So exhale through the mouth or the nose. Hands on the belly. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hands on the side ribs. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hands underneath the collarbones. Everything's included. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take a couple more rounds. Just see where you'd like to place your hands. Finding that pace that works for you. Hear that oceanic sound. And remember, when we want to change our internal state, this is all research, science documented. You look at the clock and you do this for 5 minutes. This will reset the nervous system into a calming, parasympathetic, regulated state. Really great for any time, but especially if you're feeling a lot of anxiety, and even if you're feeling like a panic attack or anxiety attack is happening, about to happen. This has been researched as a practice to do for 5 minutes breathing, and hopefully that's not going on for you. But if it is, you also want to visualize whatever the thing you're worried about. You want to say it's fear of freeways or something that you've driven before. You can do this. You want to affirm the balanced thought. Okay, so breath work and thought about your strength and how you can do this is going to help tremendously. Very good. All right, so as promised, hip mobility. So we're gonna extend that left leg. We're gonna bring our right foot out and we're just gonna lift up to feel the heel just a little bit, to feel the core muscles that are engaged with this lift, and then the foot down, and then the foot up, just to feel what we're activating here, and down. And then we wanna just bring this right knee down, and then bring this right knee up. I'm saying the knee, but you could feel how the hip has that mobility. So we're flowing here about 3 times, hands behind you. And then this time the left knee bends and we're just going to add on twisting, getting a nice twist here, and then knees over again. 3 times, breathing, flowing, and possibly enjoying what movement the body can do. And then after 3 rotations, this leg, it bends, the knee's going to bend, the left knee is going to bend, and we're going to wrap it around into the twist. You can bring your right foot in front of the shin, you can bring your foot on, I'm going to get this blanket out, on the outside of the thigh, root down through both hip bones. Shoulders away from the ears, twist from the core. Hug your knee, chin parallel, maybe elbow on the outside, maybe not. As you exhale, engage the core, twist, lengthen through the crown, and pulse back. A couple times here. See anything around you where you can appreciate or feel contentment and gratitude for. Just starting to practice to be on the lookout and outwardly, and then gently amplify that. Take a moment before we go to the other side. Full yogic breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Notice, of course, how you're feeling inwardly as we start our practice. The right leg's going to go out to the side, bending the left knee, and just feeling the engagement of the core by lifting up that heel and just becoming more aware of the muscle groups. This is done sometimes in you notice when you're sitting down and activate the muscles before you get up from the chair. Okay, and now that mobility, see what this side is doing today as we bring that knee down and open 3 times. Could be different on the other side. And we're going to get both of the knees involved, the legs involved, and then both hips involved in the rotation. Find a pace that feels comfortable to you. Now we're focusing on the hip, but we will bring our arm movements into this pretty soon. And then the same thing, when you're ready, this right knee bends, left foot in front of the shin, or perhaps on the outside of that lower right thigh. Lengthen and grow. Feel that twist from the core. You can hug your knee. You could bring your hand behind you like a kickstand, elbow maybe on the outside, deep twist. Letting go of unnecessary tension. Inhale, feeling up again. So we looked outwardly. Let's close our eyes and feel sensation within. Anytime we bring energy to the heart center consciously, You know, just like the sun that's shining today in Northern California, we're gonna get the uplift from it. We're gonna invite an expansion there, an opening there. And then we bring the knee on top of knee. Big exhale through the mouth. Full yogic breath. Remember belly, ribs, chest, expanding, and exhale in the reverse order, lengthening the exhale longer than the inhale. Keep the eyes closed and just luxuriate in. Perhaps you're feeling already the invitation to open the heart just a little bit more. Physically, dropping the mind into the heart. We know that's a really good combination. And we'll get in now to our cat-cow stretches. So bring in a blanket for the knees if you like that. Yeah. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of pulsing, but let's just start out with the knees underneath the hips, the wrists underneath the shoulders. Inhale, scooping out. Exhale, rounding in. Navel to the spine, chin toward the hollow of the chest. Inhale, scoop it out. Exhale, round it in. Now a bit of an opposite and then we'll pulse. So neutral spine, extend the left leg out, reach, and then just reach to that heel. Feel what's going on with the calf and hamstring. A little tightness there. And then we lift up without arcing our spine over to the side. The right arm reaches out. And we fold our right elbow to the left knee and then out. Let's add the breath work. Exhale. Hear the sound. Inhale, expand. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, expand and grow. One more time. Exhale. Inhale, expand. And then lower for a moment onto the forearms. So we come down onto the forearms. We're going to bend that left knee again. We're flexing through the foot and we're pulsing the bottom of the foot toward the ceiling. Make an exhale audibly. Several of these. Excellent. Release. And before we go to the other side, let's just rest in prayer pose. So extending the arms out in the front. You can lift off the wrist if you choose. Resting at the spiritual eye and the heart. Just tuning into the quality of contentment. Maybe even remembering, or it could be right now, a time where you didn't feel like you had to go anywhere or do anything to get anything. You were just really content within and whatever was around you, whoever was around you. Okay. We're going to do the same thing to the other side for a warm up. Extending the right leg, reaching through that heel, opening up the hamstring, and working with our opposites for our brain. Lifting the right leg up without twisting the torso. A left arm extends, and we fold in. Exhale, hear that sound. Inhale, expand. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, expand. 2 more. And reaching in, extending out, looking out in front for a moment, lowering your wrists, the forearms down rather, for that pulsing on the right side. So you may have to walk your knees back a little bit as you lift that right leg up, flex through the heel, and pulse 8 to 10 times. Exhale through the mouth. Looks simple, but lots going on here. And when it's time, we pull back. Again, knees wide, stretching out into prayer. If it's hard to feel the contentment, it helps to feel one thing we're grateful for, and that will just, again, give an amplification for the mind and the heart. One thing, be the last day, this morning. Doesn't have to be timeline. All right. Let's go into our full body downward facing dog. So let's take this slow. Let's really feel what's happening here. When you're ready, walk your wrists underneath your shoulders. Hover those knees off the ground. Don't rush it. Couple breaths here. And then get that feeling of really lifting the tailbone up. And then rooting the heels down as the upper body magnetizes toward the thighs. Press into the base of the fingers. Feel the muscles wrapping around the bones. I'm gently treading here. Inviting, it's usually the affirmation is calmness, but we could say contentment radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. In other words, we're not waiting for contentment to happen. We're tuning in. And so we're going to ripple and bend the knees. And ripple forward if this works for your body into plank. And then bend the knees. Full body stretch. One more time. Ripple. Bend the knees. And then, if possible, bringing the inner borders of the feet together. Right leg lifts up. And we're going to see if we could bend that knee and sweep as much as we can the right foot forward. And then here we're in a lunge. I know this is a little challenging, but see if we could bend that left knee and then sweep through. Might take do several times to do that, but that left leg sweeping through. Lengthening up. Maybe using a strap or reaching at the ball of the foot. Lifting the heart, lifting the head, adding a twist. You can have your, I'm going to bring my left hand by the little toe of the right foot and twisting in that wide across the chest, heart, front, back sides of the heart. Just loving the blue sky out here. It's been a while for us here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hug this knee in. And the spine rounds a bit. We're just, again, mobility of the hip. And going into our figure 4 from a seated and then a reverse tabletop, you'll see here. So here we are, we bend the left knee. You draw the right knee out gently, hands behind you, and the more you draw your chest toward that shin, the more you're going to feel it in the hip, right? And you're flexing through this right foot. Now, many ways to do figure 4. Lying down is a release of the back as we do it, but hopefully I'll remember and do that at the end. But what we're going to do now is a reverse tabletop. So my fingertips are facing forward. I'm just going to come off of this blanket a bit. And we're going to see what happens when we lift the hips up in that figure 4. If your neck's okay, let the head go back. If not, tuck the chin. Tuck the chin. 3 to 4 breaths here. Get strong. Hip opener and strengthener. And then we come down. And before we do the whole thing to the other side, we're going to come back with a neck release. So knee on top of knee, left ear toward the left shoulder, right arm out to the side. Stretch the side of the sternocleidomastoid mastoid muscle, that wonderful extension of opening. And then lengthen up. Of course, over to the other side, right ear to the shoulder. A little bit. Good help with your right hand extending through the left arm. Breathing full yogic breath. Come on, everything to be just as it is, because it is. Can we be okay and content? Even-minded, Yogananda says, and cheerful. Even-minded and cheerful. Gentle, it could be a gentle, subtle joy, cheerful, and we can amplify it. Or it could be more that neutral, even-mindedness. Lengthen and grow. And unravel the legs, transition by rolling onto the toes. And coming into our forward fold before we go the other side. So forward fold, feet hip width apart. You want to massage the back of the neck, the scalp. Relax and cast aside unnecessary mental burdens, things we can't control. Try to be on those 4 balance points of the feet. And it could be continuing to massage the scalp or resting the hands at the elbows. I'm just doing a very gentle rocking. We know rocking is very soothing. And then getting that blood flow to the brain. And then let the spine elongate. Feel the spine elongating. Fingers could touch or the hands on the shins. Feel the space between each vertebra. As we step it back into our friend, the downward facing dog, the full body stretch, step back, and then go into your flow that works for you. I'm deepening myself of the treading. Bending one knee, then the opposite, feeling what activates there. And affirming either the classic affirmation, calmness radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Or we're affirming contentment. Contentment, the supreme virtue, the golden virtue, radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. I'm drawing the inner borders of the feet together. And the left leg's going to lift up.
if possible. And we bend that left knee. We step it forward for a moment in our lunge, which of course helps our hips too, but not quite focusing on the lunge just yet. We're using it as a transition to step. We're going to see if we can give it some oomph here, bending that right knee and stepping the right foot forward. Got it? Take your time to get there. Landing on the sit bones. And if you want a strap or your hands to extend this hamstring, lift the heart. Watch that tendency to round. You keep extending up. And then the opposite, the right hand toward the left toes, twisting up the core, radiating the heart open. You could close your eyes. That helps really shift to tuning in, to cultivating the maybe subtle contentment. Maybe we amplify that inwardly. Feel the heart energy expanding, opening, and then we come back, eyes open, bending the knee, rocking the baby. our hip opening here without overly rounding the spine, circling around. And then flexing into our figure four. So flexing through the foot, the left foot, fingertips behind you. I like to bring my fingertips facing in. Some people bring them out, depends on your wrists. And then reach the chest forward. Breathing in, breathing out. Tune in perhaps to that left hip flexor, giving it some golden energy there, some healing energy. Every time we practice, we know we're working physically, mentally, emotionally, returning to our immortal spirit, already whole, already free. Remember that? We're content. Okay, reverse tabletop, right? We're going to see what happens here as we lift the hips up, maybe go back with them, but maybe not all the way back if you're protecting your neck. So I can mention you want to try to lower that left knee down as much as possible. Try to have even weight on the arms. You'll notice your left arm takes it more. Try to put some more weight on that right side. For 3, 2, 1. Very good. Our figure four with reverse tabletop. Coming down again for a neck release. So this time we're circling small circles to begin. And then just go into a half moon circle, it's called. So we look over toward that right knee. It's not so much the looking, but that half circle, chin down, and then over to the left. And do this one more time. Releasing the neck. A lot of people, it's too much to do the full circle. If you're okay with that, you're welcome to, but many people, this half circle works pretty great. Okay, come back to center. Again, thank you, body. Full yogic breath, inhale. Get really used to feeling the fullness of the breath, just as babies breathe, right? You want to return to that. And we can, because it's innate. It's innate. All right. Unravel the legs. And we're going to take it into our forward fold again by rippling first through the reflex points of the feet. And landing on the 4 points of the feet, massaging the back of the neck, crown, sides, relaxing unnecessary mental burdens. And when we do that, we could tune in to whatever quality we're working on contentment, but it could be a love, a gratitude, peace we were focusing on last week. We could take any of the divine qualities and breathe into it, amplify it, affirm it, bring it to the forefront, literally. Okay, let's come up into our half extension here with the spine. And then fold in, bend the knees. We're gonna do a chair pose. If you want your weights, you can do your weights with this, otherwise. I'm sure you've just imagined not having weights doing this, okay? So we reach back and then we reach forward. Reach back, reach forward. Two more. Hear the sound of the breath. And then when we come up, put my weights to the side. We're going to be using them, if you choose, into our mountain pose. So coming into mountain, rooting down really deep into the earth. And hands on the belly. First, just tune into the belly breathing. And then next cycle, standing full yogic breath. We don't have to be seated. Belly expand, ribs open, chest, clavicle opens. The energy moves upward as well, but we're focusing here. Exhale. Back down to the belly, and then as we're standing down through the legs into the earth. Do one more round, 2 more rounds on your own. To make sure to lengthen the exhale. You could add mantra if you don't like counting. I am spirit. Long soft. You could add affirmation. I am loving and accepting myself as a divine being. And we bring the hands to the heart now. Invoking that light within at the spiritual eye, out in front of you. Bringing others with us onto our mat today. Just see who you'd like to energetically send loving energy, healing energy to. It could be usually somebody in your inner circle or middle circle to start with, and then we'll go outward from there. And we do our classic Virabhadrasana 2. Again, optional always to use the weights. We're going to step pretty wide. Now we're going to start with our right foot, turning it out to the side, tracking that right knee over the ankle toward the second toe. Watch this tendency. We come up, so we're balancing the shoulders and the hips. If either you're extending your arms or using the weights. Okay. These are 5 pounds, 3 to 5, 2, whatever works for you. Inhale, root down as the arms rise up. And then exhale, look over that right hand. And we affirm, I joyfully manifest the power of the divine. So of course that divine power is within us and all around us. And just like we're tuning into contentment, we're allowing that to expand and manifest, and we look for it around us and within us. Okay, one more. Lengthen up. And turn the toes in. And we'll go to the left side in our Virabhadrasana 2. Make the adjustment and make it work for you. The left knee bending over that second toe. Tracking the knee or the hip and the shoulders. Reaching out. So inhale as the arms reach up. We're also rooting down. And then we look over our left hand. And we affirm. I joyfully manifest the power of the divine. And the golden yama of contentment. Being okay with what is, of course, doing what we need to, but progressing more in contentment as I joyfully manifest the power of the divine. One more as we turn the toes in. Hands, if you're having the weights, we're going to bring those down, or just your hands are coming forward. Hands reach out toward the ankles, crown of the head toward the floor. Shake it gently, the neck release, the blood flow to the brain, the spine release. Again and again, our forward bends invite us to release unwanted, unnecessary burdens. Okay. All right, wrists underneath the shoulders, spine elongates, heel toe it in into our squat, goddess pose. Taking our weight if you want, or just having the hands above, weight behind, and then above. Very good. 3 of these. Feel the power of the breath helping you. And we're building outer strength and inner strength simultaneously, consciously. Beautiful. And then toes turn in. Now, I haven't cued this in a while. Our Virabhadrasana 3. So, and we come back into our mountain pose first. Sending love and care to anyone you would like to energetically send that love out to others, or one person or a group of persons, animals, of course, the planet. We can expand to our city, our country, the world. All right, so we feel that energetic movement, and then we take it in. We take it in our what are called our neutral poses. We're absorbing that energy, letting it digest. So I'm going to suggest a wall, or like I have this fire mantle here, so I could use the mantle of the fireplace, but or you can use a chair, the edge of the chair for your warrior 3 for balance. And what we're going to do is start out first in what's called a 90-degree angle stretch. So if you're using a wall or a chair, you would have your arms extended out so that your spine is at a 90-degree angle, and you're lining up your ankle and your hips here. This feels good in itself. This is a wonderful stretch to do. I like to do this intermittently throughout the day. To get the feeling of the 90-degree angle, you get the setup of where the feet are gonna be. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna step our left foot a little bit in, and that right leg extends out, flexing,
and up. Now you could stay holding on to the wall or gently, I have to lift my heart up a little bit to get the balance. I soar through skies of eternal freedom. It's a lot. Maybe we soar gently through skies of eternal freedom. We're not staying here long. We're reaching out, touching the wall again, testing our balance. And then we step it in. Don't lose track of where your feet are, but we're going to swirl around. Maybe we sail serenely through skies of eternal freedom. Okay. All right, so warrior three. Now, classically it's done. I didn't start it that way on purpose, from upright. So we're going to try it this way. Try to track where your feet were. We're down through, you might find it a little easier to balance this way. We'll see. Through the right foot, the left foot's already stepping back. Now there's the arms out to the side. I'm cueing with the arms up and over because we're working to touch something, but also know you can go out and you can go back. All right. So we'll start with the arms up. Virabhadrasana 3. And then we're lifting off that back leg. Reaching the heart forward. Maybe you touch the object, maybe you don't. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. Get a little bit more stretch of the spine. I'm going to reach and touch down and reach back. But of course my balance won't quite be all the way on the foot. But that's okay, because when I lift up again, I'll feel more of that. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. And then we come up. Whoops. A little bit fast, that's okay. Reaching up. And taking the arms down. Yielding into the earth. And feel that energy swirling within you and all around you. Back to our mountain. So Virabhadrasana 3. We did Virabhadrasana 2. And while we're upright, standing, let's do a classic triangle. It's always good to add to our practice. If you like that day, continue to send healing, love, energy to others or to one person or to an animal that needs just a little bit more right now. Feel free to do that. And we're going to open up. You can use a block here. In fact, I'll bring a block just to demo it. Oh. So legs are wide. Right foot turns out. Place the block by the little toe side of the foot, or you can put it on the inside. Open up. Shoulders, elbows, wrists, and then feel the expansion of this wonderful Trikonasana side body stretch. Hand comes lightly on that block. The energy radiates from the heart out through the hands. The mudra, thumb, index finger. Individual self united with the infinite. Infinite wrapping around the individual self. Is reach over to Utthita. Energy and joy fill my body cells. You may or may not want to circle that arm around. Energy and joy fill my body cells. Try to be balanced through both feet. When you come up this time, we're going to dance our warrior. We're going to bend our right knee. We're going to flow the right arm up. I'm going to bend the elbow, reach behind. You may or may not be able to clasp. That's okay. Hand could be down by your side here.
Just pulse a few times. Inhale, coming up. Taking that time to transition. Having your block to the other side, the left foot to the side, the right foot about 30 degrees in, and open the heart. Contentment, feeling, invoking in the heart, subtle joy, happiness. If it's a big joy, let it shine. No need to tamper that. Reaching over, taking our hand lightly on the block, adding a mudra, opening the heart, head to tail connected. Wonderful side body stretch. And you can stay here, or you can add the circular Uttasana movement as you circle into energy and joy. Fill my body cells. We're opening to the joy kosha. And thankfully, the joy kosha is within us. And for many of us, it just need to be dusted off. Reminded that. We soften your left knee as that the right hand comes down. We reach the left arm up. And maybe you clasp, maybe it's a different story, rooting down, pulsing about 3 times. Beautiful. Then we flow. So we circle the arms around. We go deeper now into our lunge. We're warmed up. I'm going to angle out. The left foot is in front. And we're in that wonderful shimmy shake of the hips. I'm rolling onto that little toe side of the left foot. So it's a deep, deep, deep hip opener. Oh. Good. Okay, from here, we're going to take it in with that left arm coming inside. We come off of the back, right knee, and we step back to plank. Step back. Come forward, come back, building our strength. Not collapsing anywhere. One forearm comes down, then the other. So rocking. From on top of the knees into our Sphinx. For back bend. And we'll do our locust series, swim in our arms, again with the brain gym for the opposite. So we'll reach our right arm forward, our left arm back. Imagine that block between the inner thighs, protecting your low back as you lift up the right arm and the left leg. Inhale, pulse up. Recharging the spine, exhale, ease. Opening our wings of joy. Inhale, pulsing up. Exhale, ease. And again, inhale, pulse up. Exhale, ease. And we'll take a deep rest before we go the other side. Just learning to return again and again, and even living from our spiritual eye, our seat of intuition. Two become one. The 2 outward eyes become one in the wisdom center, our higher self. And I could really feel your breath. Take a full yogic breath here, several rounds.
So it feels like we are doing the breath, I'm cueing the breath, but it's a wonderful practice to tune into what's animating your breath, what's the divine energy that's fueling this form, that's fueling your heartbeat. Now we go to the other side. So we bring our right arm down, we bring our left arm forward, and then we pulse it up 3 times total. Inhale and recharge. Exhale, ease. And we're always working with that effort and ease. Pulsing up, the yin and the yang. It's in duality, but we come to neutral, neutralizing those waves of feeling. Three times, opening our angel wings and resting for 2 full yogic breaths here on our belly, but trying to tune in to the energy that's amplifying this form, this body, this breath. So we're working from the body to tune into the soul. The soul's always here, quiet. Not more activity in the body, in the mind, but we return to the soul. And the hands now ready for our, well, let's interlock here for once and get both sides radiating up. And maybe lifting the legs, maybe not, a little bit. Just to get that recharge and that feeling to get our full cobra here, Bhujangasana. Rising up to meet and greet this day, looking and sensing for the happiness, joy, contentment. As we inhale, shoulders down, maybe knees off the ground, lion's breath. Eye gaze up, stick out the tongue. Knees touch down, and this time we bring the arms back behind us into more of the classic child's pose and then into rabbit, so, or hare pose. So the arms come back, resting somewhere by the top of the head, or you can use a blanket here. So the opposite of the back bend, the gentle rounded spine. Very, very yin, very, very inward, opposite of the yang, of the cobra and locust we just did. And then we're going to hold on to our heels. We're going to tuck our chin to the hollow of the throat. We're going to come onto the top of the head into our hare pose. So we roll away from the heels. 3 to 5 breaths here. And now we ease down. Now, when we ease down, we want to make space in our neck now, and release our hands and maybe just rock very gently side to side. Right, rippling up. Taking your time, just feel that effect of the hare pose or rabbit pose. Notice how you felt about that. Again and again, training ourselves just to return to what's natural to us. We've forgotten, but we can return to our full yogic breath. All right, I'd like to continue with that hip mobility focus with adding pigeon, Ekapada, Rajakapattanasana. So if you know you like a blanket for one of the cheeks, go ahead and have that by your side. We're going to take it via a down dog, cat down dog. So again, hover off the knees, take your time to pour back onto the heels. Full body stretch again. There's so much, for me, contentment in that. Into the contentment, and then I'm amplifying it by affirming it. Contentment radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. All right, if possible, inner borders of the feet together, right leg lifts up. Maybe open that hip by bending the knee to the side, but not turning your torso or your upper body out too much. And then we bring that knee in, knee to the chest. Walk the hands out a little bit. And the knee between the hands, sliding back on top of that left knee. Try to square off the hips here. Shimmy, shake a little bit. Again, if this, no problem if the hip is off the ground, put a pillow or a blanket there. You can make a fist with your hands. Let's get the heart opening first. Of course, the hip is opening already. But then we melt down, we ease. So here's the effort opening. And now we put ourselves into an ease and continue the opening again and again, resting at the spiritual eye, returning to soul, intuition, releasing as much as possible. The brain does it, goes to future, goes to past. But coming into this moment through the breath, through affirmation, softening the shoulders, resting in the eternal now, resting in your immortal soul. Rest in the eternal now. I rest in my immortal soul. And again, pigeon, you may feel like you want to like hang out here for a while. You could, but for class timing's sake, you'd I say this many times, read a book, or not a whole book, but maybe a page or two. And we're gonna rise up. Open the heart. Little shimmy shake. And then we lunge forward, turn for the transition, turn the left toes under and step it back. Do our full body stretch. So grateful for all the movements, but we do have our favorites probably. When you're ready, inner borders of the feet together. Left leg lifts up. We bend the left knee, opening the hip if you choose. Try to bring the chest forward to the floor though. And transitioning the left knee toward the chest and stepping that left knee between the hands. Sliding that back leg back on top of the right knee. I like to make a fist with the hands and shimmy, shake gently side to side, getting that flow, getting that ease, fluidity. Again, if you want a pillow or a blanket underneath this left cheek, feel free. As we open the heart, and then we melt down. See if that other hand could stack on top, just to shift it a bit. The main thing is to open to the eternal now, to the immortal
soul to what's animating your form, your breath. So we feel the breath. Inquire a little bit deeper. What's animating this breath? What's animating this life form? The classic, who am I inquiry? Really? Resting in the eternal now. Full yogic breathing here. Anytime we can remember to do so. It's so nourishing. You could feel that most likely. And then we'll inhale and we'll come up, rising up. And then give that wonderful hip stretch. And we'll continue with the hip mobility as promised. So as we come on to that left cheek, we're going to sweep this right leg around. We're going to come onto our back in the classic figure four. So we did it seated upright. We did a reverse tabletop. You can also do it standing, which I didn't do. So many ways to play. We're going to release the low, mid, upper back down and just hug those knees in. Again and again, thank you, body, for all you can do, for showing up today, for tuning in to the contentment channel. You know, it's a metaphor of speech. It's a vibration. Okay, right knee comes in, flexing through the foot, back to figure four again. Draw that knee away from you in that triangle of space. We reach through. I like to use the elbow to wedge that knee open. It really depends on your anatomy, how that works for you. You could stay here if you want an additional hamstring stretch. You would use a strap around the ball of the foot or grab that large toe, but you still keep the hip opening. Don't forget about that. Releasing the back. This could too much information, but could be done on one foot standing too in the reverse direction. But this feels so good, hopefully, to open the hip, open to the breath, open to the life force energy. Just meditate on the sound, perhaps, of the full yogic breath, belly, ribs, chest expanding. No matter what form we're in, as you exhale, take the full yogic breath. And then before we go to figure four to the other side, if this is in your practice, it may or may not be, to bring one knee on top of the other. If that's too much, have the knees apart for our lying down twist. So we're going to lift the hips, swivel them over to the right, draw the knees down to the left, and just pulse back and forth. Knee and shoulder, knee and shoulder. And when you're ready, you could stay with the arms out to the side, or sweep that right arm up and over, next going along for the neck release. Divine life is within me and all around me. It's a great affirmation, especially for contentment. Truth serum, divine life is within me and all around me. Oh, heart open, engage core, inhale coming up, Adjust onto your spine. Hold that right knee enough to switch for a figure four to the other side. Pulling down. Moving into Shavasana soon. So drawing your left knee away, reaching through that triangle, using your elbow to wedge open. Now, if you aren't reaching for your hamstring, you could circle the knee around if that feels good, or stay stable, or you could reach up and breathe. I'm rocking gently side to side. This is really good to release any low back, tension or tightness. You feel how the weight is releasing side, very gently side to side as we're doing our hamstring opener and our hip opener. So many wonderful ways to restore and build strength. As the knee on top of knee, if that's too much, knees apart. Swivel the hips to the left and fold over, pulsing back and forth, back and forth. Stabilize, heart open, and the left arm comes up around with the head and neck releasing, affirming. Divine life is within me and all around me. Divine life is within me and all around me. It could be more and more subtle. You can say it out loud, you can say it inward. Golden virtue, contentment. Engage the core and inhale when you're ready, coming up, adjusting onto your spine. One last, for this class anyway, back release. We'll do many today. I'm going to go into happy baby or continue to swirl the knees or go into your classic happy baby, rocking side to side, ironing out the back, but especially the mid and low back. And tuning in, taking a moment, several moments here, and see what would feel best for Shavasana. Would it be maybe butterfly with the block or a bolster for any way you choose to restore? We know we can put the legs up the wall or over a chair or couch. If you got low back issues, I wouldn't recommend doing a bolster. I would recommend more of a flat back and your legs up. So getting yourself cozy and maybe hydrate a little bit, but a blanket, whatever feels good to you, to tune in. Okay. As I guide us through deep restoration where we're not moving outwardly. All right, if it's helpful, take a short then long inhale and tense the body. And then a short and long exhale, relax. Melting, feel the difference there. Depending on your positioning, we'll go top down, releasing the head from side to side. Eventually, the head rests in alignment with the spine. Tuning into your three-part yogic breath. You could think of this contentment as a quiet enjoyment, first the inner part of this, the attunement to the subtle feelings.
Softening the eyes, softening the jaw. Feel the cool air coming in through the nostrils, maybe coolness at the spiritual eye, and the warm cooked air coming out of the nostrils. Hear that oceanic sound in the throat. And let the shoulders soften away from the ears. Feeling that radiant sensation streamlining down both arms. Notice the temperature in the palms of the hands, digits of the fingers and thumbs. And really feel the mind drop into the heart. We can magnetize the power of the mind to drop into the heart and breathe and feel the spaciousness there and the quality I'm inviting you into. Could be a subtle joy or contentment, happiness, peace, any of the divine qualities. Can use our mind to drop into the heart. Practice of quiet contentment. And feel that natural love of the heart and what's animating that love of the heart. Sometimes it's helpful to attune to someone, starting out with one person that's easy to love, that you love deeply. Then start to expand that to maybe an outer or middle circle, could be inner still of friends and family, radiating out that love from within. And expanding it into your city, county, the country, and the world. See what feels right to you. Continue to return if you drifted to the full yogic breath, the belly, the ribs, the chest expanding, the fullness, and the letting go on the exhale. Just to remember as we're breathing in, we're tuning in, but we're also just feeling and sensing our body, our back body getting heavy, being supported, our belly breathing deeply. The fullness of the three-part yogic breath. Feeling the cheeks and the thighs and the knees left and right. Did a lot of work on the hips today, the calves, the ankles, all the way through to the soles of the feet, digits of the toes. Tops of the feet, heels. And again, just returning to what's animating your form and your breath. Contentment is a practice of when you're at peace and don't need anything. Don't have to do anything. The emotions that can get agitated are at rest, and you're really enjoying the moment and crystallizing that. Turn to wholeness, already free, already aware, already at peace. And you're also welcome to stay in a deep restoration, or if you're ready to return to movement, do so gradually. And this is not quite yet, but the practice later of the outward when you're ready to open your eyes. But Jen, looking through the day to, to expand that contentment, it could be maybe you see a laughing child or again, a flower, a garden, or birds, and whatever brings you that sense of contentment. Just be on the lookout for it and then gently expand it. Notice it. So we'll come up if you are in that place of coming back to an upright or lying down. And we're going to send this healing energy to others through this 3-syllable Om sound, visualizing others you'd like to send this healing energy to, rubbing the hands together perhaps to generate heat if this is in your practice. Inhale. Bring the hands together in Namaste, recognizing that divinity within you and within others as you bow to the wisdom of your heart. Letting contentment lead the way if that speaks to you for our practice today. Continuing on after as we get off the mat. That's where they say the real practice begins, right? So I'm going to stop the recording.